Iran's leadership just told its security forces they are allowed to start shooting. After a week of protests driven by a collapsing economy, Iran's supreme leader finally spoke, and his message could not have been any clearer. Talk to protesters with economic complaints, but so called rioters must be put in their place. That is regime language. That is the language that precedes blood. These protests began over a free falling currency, exploding prices, and economic mismanagement. But they are no longer just about economics. In multiple cities, chants are now targeting the regime itself. And into that moment, Donald Trump stepped in. In an overnight post on Truth Social, Trump warned that if Iran violently kills peaceful protesters, the United States will come to their rescue. He added that America is locked and loaded and ready to go. That is not diplomatic language, that is a deterrent threat. Iran's response was immediate and predictable. Officials ran to the United Nations, they blamed Israel and the United States, they threatened American forces across the region. Same script every time. But here's what actually matters, and this is where Trump's statement puts the regime in a uniquely precarious position. The Islamic Republic survives unrest by doing one thing very well. It kills enough people fast enough to break momentum. That is the pattern. It is brutal, but it works. The regime accepts international condemnation because it knows condemnation does not stop bullets. Trump's statement disrupts that formula. If the regime cracks down hard, it risks triggering external consequences at a moment when it is already economically weak, diplomatically isolated, and militarily exposed after last year's strikes. If it holds back, protests spread, legitimacy erodes, and control of the street becomes harder by the day. That is the trap. Iran's leadership is used to choosing repression and riding out the noise. What Trump is attempting to do is remove that default option, or at least make it far more dangerous to use. He is forcing the regime into a space it hates: hesitation. And hesitation is deadly for authoritarian systems. This is why the response from Tehran has been so frantic, running to the UN, issuing sweeping threats, framing everything as foreign interference. Those are not actions of a confident regime. Those are the actions of leadership trying to reassert control while its usual toolset is suddenly constrained. Now layer this on top of Iran's internal power structure, because that is where pressure really builds. Iran is not one unified security machine. The IRGC and the Basij are not neutral institutions. They are ideological organs of the Islamic Republic. Their loyalty is to the regime, not the country. Their power, money, and survival are tied directly to the clerical system. They do not defect, they repress. When ordered to shoot civilians, they shoot civilians. The conventional Iranian military is different, though. It is professional, it is national, and it is far less ideological. It is not built around revolutionary theology, and historically, it has never been as tightly bound to the clerical elite as the IRGC. That distinction is everything. No serious person believes the IRGC will turn on the regime. The only theoretical pathway to internal regime collapse is a fracture inside the conventional military. Refusal to fire, refusal to intervene, or in an extreme scenario, a move against the regime itself. That is the quiet hope many Iranians hold. Is it likely? That is unclear. This system was designed to prevent exactly that. The IRGC has deeper intelligence reach and paramilitary control, but numbers matter. Legitimacy matters, and popular support can change equations quickly when a regime starts openly labeling its own citizens as enemies. Now let's talk about escalation, because this is where things get dangerous. When the Islamic Republic feels threatened at home, it externalizes violence. That is its pattern. It lashes out abroad to change the subject internally. It reminds the region that instability follows pressure on Tehran. That does not require a U.S. invasion. Escalation could come through proxies, a rocket attack, a strike on a U.S. base via a deniable militia, a manufactured incident designed to provoke retaliation and rally domestic support under the banner of resistance. A cornered regime does not calm down, it gambles. There is also an Israel dimension people are ignoring. A destabilized Islamic Republic is a strategic blow to every Iranian proxy network across the region. The IRGC funds and directs Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas. If the regime is forced inward, cash and attention get pulled from that entire terror architecture. But the flip side is real. A regime fighting for survival may decide that regional chaos is preferable to domestic collapse. So here is the bottom line. This moment is not about moral signaling. It is not about speeches. It's not even about the protests alone. It is about whether the Islamic Republic's internal enforcement system cracks before its external terror system lashes out. The IRGC will never save Iran from itself. Only the Iranian people and possibly a national military choosing country over regime ever could. Trump's statement raises that possibility. Khomeini's words suggest the regime is preparing to test it, and the next 48 to 72 hours will tell us which way this goes. If you want clear sourced updates as this develops, follow me here on X or on any of my channels on social media.